Yo, talk to me, man. Talk to me, man.
See my life.
Hey, it's gonna be alright. Hey, you ain't got to
put me focus back in my mind. So very high. My dedication to the rock.
Hey, man, just be cool, man.
Our dedication to the rock.
Just be cool, man.
Time go by. Look back on the way I live my life. I'm glad I ain't end up killed by a gun tonight.
Dude, I can feel your vibes.
I'm gonna take.
And your vibes are fucking retarded.
I'm gonna build a pylon so hard right
Inside of me?
right inside of you.
Oh, wow. Could you actually... Okay,
Assassin
all right.
probes. You're thinking exactly what I'm thinking.
I'm even thinking like in the middle of the night, you're a probe and you sneak into someone's room and you warp a pylon into their ass. And
Right.
they explode.
Yeah.
They explode
It's
when
a
it pops.
it's a bad Japanese hentai. And it's also a reality in the first ever Starcraft 2 patch where they give probes the assassinate ability.
Wow, we gotta make Starcraft 2 hentai.
Were you everybody on Starcraft.org modders, we're gonna fund the we're not gonna fund that.
I would fund it, man. Dude, I got like $15 in the bank
Yeah.
to give you. Okay, so we are we are Starcraft Amateur Hour, obviously. I'm Guns Akimbo.
So we're thinking about changing.
Say your name.
I'm Negative Sun, and we're thinking about changing the name of the show to Starcraft 2 Pro Hour.
Yeah, we're like really pro.
Really pro. Starcraft 2 Super Pro Hour. But
I like that.
Yeah. And we're gonna sell T-shirts.
Oh man, I wish we could sell t-shirts.
Starcraft 2 Pro Hour.
Oh, you know what? I want to get like a donation. The guys at Starcraft.org said we could maybe do a donation thing for a video camera, because we really need a video camera so we can film ourselves.
Yeah, because we like to see ourselves.
Yeah. So, anyways, whatever. I'm not gonna talk about that. All right. So this game was submitted by Archon.
Yeah. So you know he plays Protoss.
Yes.
Yeah, Protoss are the only race really that names their usernames after Protoss units.
They're the only race that requires the RP forums in
Yeah.
the forums.
It's like Dark Templar 005
Yeah.
or Archon or High Templar Psystorm.
So Archon actually emailed me and he said one of the nicest compliments of I was inspired by your one-base Mutalisk video of trying something new, trying to mix things up. And that's awesome. It's a great feeling of like, wow, some guy was inspired by me talking about something bullshit on StarCraft.
Yeah.
And so he's like, and so I started experimenting and I had the idea to make immortal zealots.
Yeah. And we don't mean like zealots mixed with immortals from the robotics facility. We just mean zealots.
Immortal zealots.
Yeah, zealots that don't die easy.
And that way they never have to go back to the Ire and then be reformed into the non-existent Dragoon.
Which then turns into an immortal.
Yeah.
And that's how they become. Really, so the best way to make immortal zealots is to have them go to battle, die, get sent back to Ire in the past, and get turned into Dragoons, and then turn into immortals, so they can be immortal zealots.
We have so many time traveling.
Every
things in
immortal
our cast.
is actually a zealot. Or was once a zealot. Think about that.
Dude, go back to the RP forums, alright? So, Archon getting a great scout on in the Terran base, trying to keep himself alive, but only down to 10 health and blocked in, so he's got to do a little shift clicking and get his probie in there as long as possible.
Until his shields come back, which is why Protoss is the best race.
And so, I don't know exactly.
Oh, that's so sad.
He died. I'm happy.
From the Marine, not from the SUV.
Oh, there's a Marine. Oh, there is a Marine.
Yeah.
There he is. Hello.
Usually when you run your probes past Marines, they die.
So let's see how he does this build and if it's effective at all.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, you know more about Protoss. So let's. What do you see in this build so far?
He's chrono boosting probes, so he's
No shit. What do you see in this build so far?
Actually, that's
I know. I'm kidding.
yeah, that's actually important because where you spend your chrono boost shows a little bit of what you're intending to do. Chrono boosting probes early shows he wants to have a strong economy going in. He's not chrono boosting zealots for a very early rush, which is interesting because he was talking about his immortal zealots. So it looks like it's more of a mid-game push with lots of zealots rather than an early push with a few. And he's chrono boosting. What is that? Warp in.
Yep. Warp gates.
Which is pretty common. So possibly he's going to be you know, I mean, warping is so normal that you can't really speculate from that, but
Yeah, it just becomes so standard.
right,
for
he's going to be
whatever.
warping in either at a proxy pylon or in his own base. He's going to be using warping. That's all we can say from that. So I mean, he does have 2 gateways early, which also is just not that unusual, but indicative of a an aggressive gateway build.
And we do have Sentries coming out, so it seems Sentries will be part of the Immortal Zealots.
No, he can't build sentries. He said zealots. this replay's not allowed anymore. It's like void. He broke his own rule.
Yep.
That's like if you said you were going to build a mutalist build and then you built roaches or banelings afterwards. It's not allowed.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, guys, we lied to you.
Yeah.
So it looks like we'll have Sentries to add the Guardian Shield. To give, what is it, a range of 4?
It adds 2 armor.
Adds 2 armor to Zealots, who already have
Against
so
range,
much armor.
not against range, not against
Yeah, but
melee.
does Terran even have a melee unit?
No.
Wow.
Do they
that's-
actually?
There's
Do they have any?
Marines, there's Marauders, there's SCVs.
SCVs, yeah, SCVs.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
That's interesting, actually.
I never thought of it
Think
that
about
way.
it. Yeah, I never thought about it that way either.
Oh shit.
Hellions, I guess, if you count that.
That's range damage too on a Hellion.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
I never thought about that before, but it's totally true.
Yeah, I wonder if there's other units that play
I'm not
into
thinking
it.
of. Yeah.
that would play into the fact that you can screw Terran by blocking against range. Whatever. So we have 4 warp gates, terrifying 4 number,
Yeah.
and a forge coming in. So it looks like we're going to see a mix of Sentries with that +2 for the shields, and upgraded Zealots, upgrading the armor.
This is actually a very strong unit composition against Terran early barracks units, and actually something that I use a lot when Terran comes and pushes your front. Terran
pushes your front.
Pushes as hard as they can with their cyber dicks against your front.
I love Starcraft Amateur Hour.
But no, I mean, Terran has a really strong build with multiple barracks, which looks like this player's doing a variation of, where they go for Tech Lab for some Marauders and then 2 barracks with Reactor Core for Marines. It's the standard Terran infantry push where they have lots of Marines and Marauders, and it comes early so that the Protoss doesn't have that many units built up, and they're usually able to just roll right in. But I like going Zealot Sentry against this because, if you're not ready, the Sentries allow you to seal off your ramp with force fields and warp in units until you're ready to handle it. And if you are ready to handle it, then the Sentries let you use Guardian Shield, which allows your Zealots to destroy the Terran Marines. If you guys remember, last week we did a game about Zerg against a Terran that was going for this very similar infantry build, but they were using Roaches and Hydralisks. And Marines cut through Roaches so quickly.
But if Roaches had
Guardian Shield, they wouldn't. And that's basically what Guardian Shield does and why it's so good.
And there we go. Force fielding on the ramp. He
Right.
was not feeling confident, and he will feel confident very soon. I mean, the only thing that I feel mixes what you're saying up a little bit is that the Marauders now have concussive shells.
Yeah.
So that does slow the Zealots.
It doesn't really end up making a difference because the Zealots take so little damage while they're under the Guardian Shield that it doesn't really matter. I mean, Protoss, usually what you'll do is you'll force field the ramp like you just did, and then you'll add a few more Zealots, and then you'll push.
And so Protoss waited just right until their +1 upgrades were done on the Zealots for armor.
Right.
So these Guardian Shields up and these Zealots moving
So it's a
in.
total of 3 armor against all of the Terran units, and that's just so huge.
Yeah, and look at that. Just, a couple of Zealots falling, but not that many. Really just cutting through, and now all of their shields healing right back up. And ground weapons level 1 now being researched.
Right.
So not only are they immortal, they are just like brawlers.
And actually, it's a really interesting point is that the Protoss player went for defend the armor upgrade first. With a build like this, when you're using Sentries against Terran, you want to get that armor upgrade first. It's counter to what Protoss usually do. Was usually they'll get the attack upgrade first, but you definitely want to take the armor upgrade first. And he's getting his leg speed upgrade as well.
Yeah, which is huge, especially against the concussive shells of the Marauder.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Is that once you have those leg speed upgrades, the Marauders concussive shells no longer are even gonna come into play really much at all.
And now so many Marines firing on this, and Archon's not even waiting. He's just pushing right up, seeing the damage he can do.
The only thing here is he's getting his Zealots trapped behind his Sentries, which is not less than really great. You don't want that to happen usually.
I mean, yeah, so a less than ideal push, I mean, essentially losing that battle, yes, cut everything off.
Yeah.
You know, those force fields becoming such a huge part of the metagame for Protoss, but still...
and a Protoss who's doing this has so much recovery leeway because he's able to use those force fields. And he's able to pull back, and then he's able to force field his own defensive position as long as he needs to until he's recovered fully, and he's able to engage again.
Engage you.
I'll engage you with my pylon, with my anal pylon.
Wow. And so more and more now too, I've been seeing in Protoss games the SimCity effect of, and it's great. You know, like he has the expansion up, he wants to protect it, and now he's just creating a little bit of a wall of all of his new gateways. Can't hurt.
Right. And this is something that I get excited to think about is Protoss starting to use.
Those Zealots need to pull back, but still, I mean, these Zealots taking an extraordinary amount of damage. This is not going to be enough to hold us back, but
now it will.
You think so? Oh, actually, yeah, you're right now. Oh, and the speed just finishing, and it's so crazy.
Yeah, I love. The thing is with Protoss, players who aren't used to playing them or playing against them see a few Zealots warp in, and they're like, "Oh, it's just only a few Zealots." You gotta respect the power of the Zealot.
Yeah, and then you see them
just like you respect Mr. T.
Yeah, like if Mr. T like jumped out of a plane and with his mouth open and bit your neck.
If Mr. T if Mr. T could like harness the velocity of jumping out of a plane, but put it into like running.
Yeah. Can he?
If Mr. T was a vampire, that's the same thing as a Zealot.
Oh, Zealots in the main! Oh, that whatever, supply depot not getting up, and just Sentries doing a crap load of damage to these few units, and I don't know if Terran has anything to hold this off.
This is really good for Protoss right now.
For Protoss as a race in general? Like
for this particular Protoss.
Okay.
He's gonna go to the forums and RP this game so hard.
Yeah.
I've conquered you, Terran Earthlings.
Yeah, but Protoss armor is +2, so that's 3 plus the 2 for the Sentries, 5 armor total.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, my point was that it's exciting to me that because of in Brood War, you used to build all of your gateways in like these long gateway farms, basically, because you wanted all of your units rallying from the same place, and you wanted to be able to re-rally easily. But in Starcraft 2, you don't have to have your gateways in the same spot because with warping, you can still warp in all your units to the same spot no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see players beginning to put their gateways wherever they want. You can put gateways anywhere. It doesn't matter. So I like to see players walling off with gateways and using SimCity and blocking stuff with gateways and using gateways to create advantageous terrain for their units.
Yeah, I mean, I essentially feel like it's a little bit of a variation of, like the Terran engineering bay of you built it because you needed it, and now you're using it to float around and using it for a different purpose.
Right. You got to leverage every advantage you can from everything in StarCraft. So, the fact that you
and in life, man.
And in life, it's true.
High five.
So the fact that you can build gateways anywhere and still warp your units to the same spot, build them anywhere. Build them everywhere. Anywhere you think would be good to build them, build them.
Yeah.
Especially inside your opponent's body.
Imagine just like walking through like a mall, like, and a gateway is forming inside you.
Imagine you play Zerg again. Imagine you like went into a game of StarCraft and you're waiting. You're like in the screen where it's looking for opponents, and you're waiting. And you get into game, and you find your opponent's a Protoss. So you're ready. You're like in a rush with Zerglings, and all of a sudden you feel something inside of you.
Yeah.
And you realize
usually
like, you're about to throw up, and you realize that the Protoss built a pylon inside of you, and you're about to die.
What would I do?
You would lose that game of StarCraft, and they would win.
That would suck. I'd be deranked.
So, so the message to all of you is that this is a cool build. Build Zealots with Sentries and build pylons inside of your opponents.
Yep.
GG.
And your girlfriend.
And your girlfriend.
Or boyfriend.
But you got to do that gently.
Yeah. Gently warping in a pylon.
Yeah. All right, GG.
GG.